Plaintiff Deidre Thiers is suing her ex-boyfriend, George Edward, for damaged property and harassment. Deidre claims George was verbally and physically abusive during their relationship. But George says they were both guilty of abuse, and he's countersuing for personal property and a false arrest that came after Deidre lied to the police about being assaulted.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding. Please be seated.
All right, Deidre Thiers?
Correct.
All right, is suing George Edward. Deidre is claiming that her ex-boyfriend damaged her property. She's suing for harassment. And George Edwards is countersuing for personal property and false arrest. Deidre, why don't you tell us what happened?
Okay. I met George September of '02, started dating, things were going well, so we built a home together in February of '05. Now, I purchased numerous items for the home, including a sofa and Loveseat. And February of '06, the relationship started dwindling, and he had hurt his back at work. He was out of work. He was suing his employer. He became verbally abusive. He started looking at pornography on the computer.
What? Did you just wink at me?
No. You want me to wink at you?
No. Watch it. You know what? I have a sense of humor, but don't play with me.
I signed up for a thing called Pathway Seminars to learn how to deal with someone who had those types of issues. And I thought that it was that I didn't know how to deal with somebody who was verbally abusive, someone I didn't have enough empathy or enough sympathy for that man. But then I realized it doesn't matter how hurt you are, you don't verbally abuse someone else.
Right,
you don't.
Right. Of course not.
Right.
All right.
So in August of '06, I actually purchased a new condo. Wanted to end the relationship with him, and I still wanted to stay in the home while I was fixing up the condo. I kept the furniture there, lived there. The home sold very first person that walked in, but unfortunately that deal fell through.
Okay, so you're both living in the house while it's on the market for sale, okay? But you bought a condo.
Right.
But you're not living in the condo.
Right.
So the two of you are living together, the furniture's in the house? Okay, so move it along.
December of '06, after that deal fell through, I was like, I can't take it anymore. I've got to get out. I was packing up one day, and he came past me in the hall, jammed his shoulder into mine, and it hurt for like 6 hours.
How tall are you?
6'2".
How tall are you?
5'6".
How does he jam his shoulder into your shoulder?
Because he went like this, down in the hallway.
What was he saying to you when he did this? What, just out of the blue, the guy hit you in the shoulder with his shoulder?
Yes, not even saying anything at that particular point. Then he started saying, I've got to get ready to go to work, and I think you're stealing my stuff.
Okay, so now you're both in the process of moving. Are you staying in the house, or do you have a place?
I'm staying in the house. She had a place, but she elected to stay in it.
Okay, so it's bad. It's bad now.
Yeah, it's bad.
The relationship
Resentment,
is bad.
the arguing, the verbal back and forth. I mean, we're both guilty of it.
But you're saying that you didn't shoulder her. Are you angry? Do you remember the day she called the police?
Yes.
Who's got the police report? Anybody?
I've got various police reports.
Hand them to the court officer, and Jimmy, hand them up. All right, so things are bad between you.
Right.
Okay. So how bad are they?
Well, going back, we met and everything was great. It was working out really well, and I was attracted to her at first because she was a very organized person. She comes home one day and she's got this weird idea. One of her jobs, she's working at, the woman talks her into going to Pathways. So she goes to the first exercise, pays $400 to go to this program, comes home, and she's got this assignment for them that she's going to go to a mall in a robe, shopping for 3 hours without any makeup. And bailiff, I'd like you to hold a picture up for the judge here. She goes, she's got a bikini underneath. She's walking up to strange men and asking them what they are thinking.
I'm speechless. You go to a mall in a pink terry cloth robe and a beeper on your belt? Why?
That is the challenge to myself, basically.
It's a challenge to a cop if he sees you, who might take you in to make sure you're not a danger to yourself or others.
I got more.
More?
Yeah. Now she's got this idea she's going to go to the advanced program of Pathways, pay $1,000 out of her pocket, and go for a whole week there. So now she goes, but when I come home from work, she's got a bag around her neck, a Glad bag with an egg in it. And here I've got photos of that.
You walking around with a necklace with a baggie with an egg in it? Is it cooked or raw?
It's raw.
Makes sense to me. I don't know. Okay.
No, Your Honor, she wore this egg in a bag for 7 days straight. The only time she did not have it on her was when she showered. She put it on the floor.
Deidre, people can commit you for stuff like this. Go ahead, George.
All of a sudden, one day out of the blue, she goes running by me. I'm like, now what? She says, I'm calling the cops. Now, at that point, I did not threaten her the first time. I did not threaten the woman in any way, shape, or form. I did not hurt her, nothing. She goes and calls the cops. They show up. They hear their side of the story. They make her leave. She called. Let me stay in the house.
Is that true? Deidre, they made you leave?
They didn't make me leave. They said, who has a place to go? And my sister lived close, and I left just to...
Does anyone have the police report?
I gave
this one?
A lot of them. There's many.
Whoa. Why do we have so many police reports, George?
Okay, well, I'm discussing it right now.
Okay.
All right, so then the second time we're in an argument or whatnot, she calls the police again, and they show up. What did happen? They made her leave again. So now this morning, when I was walking to the kitchen, there was a flaw in the house that we built and designed. There was a very narrow doorway. When we went through that entrance together, because she was coming out of the laundry room and I was going towards the laundry room, we bumped our arms. We bumped our arms only. She proceeds to go in the bathroom for 25 minutes and gets ready for work, putting makeup on, putting clothes on. Now, if I threw my shoulder into her at that time, if I was her, I would call the police right then and there. But she's in the bathroom for 25 minutes now.
I get it. Move on. It took her 25 minutes.
So she comes in, I'm getting ready for work in the kitchen. We get in this huge argument. I'm making my lunch for work. We get in this huge argument. I'm like, I got no time. I'm going to be late for work. I'm walking to the bathroom. Now I've got to, take my turn in there. She's screaming and yelling at me. I get to the bathroom. I slam the bathroom door very hard, and part of the molding blew off the door. She ran and she called the police.
Okay, so the police come, they see it, and do they arrest you?
Came and got me in the bathroom and arrested me.
They
and
did?
I'm like, yeah, they did arrest me. So I went to jail.
Yeah, what happened? Were you convicted of anything?
No.
Why not?
Because there was no evidence on nothing.
Did you go forward with the charges, Deidre?
I tried to go forward with the
charges. What happened? Why wasn't he convicted?
The state's attorney dropped the charges, and when the lieutenant from the police department called me, he explained to me that they said that there wasn't physical evidence.
What about the door?
Oh, they had that.
Well, that's physical evidence.
They just said it not on me, and basically George told me
it's not on you. It doesn't have to be on you.
Right. He also told me after that his he said, do you want to know why I got out of that? Because of the fact that he said his attorney had just gotten back from a week-long trip fishing with the judge.
No, that's false.
Let me tell you something. If you file a charge against someone and you get a call from the DA's office or the state's attorney and they say to you, we've dropped the charges, you have the right to make us think about that, okay? And if you believe that there is some kind of collaboration between a judge and a defense attorney where they're going on vacation, it's your obligation as a citizen, not just for you, but for every other person in that jurisdiction, to make some noise about that. That means that you report the judge to the Commission on Judicial Conduct, and in addition to that, you report the attorney to the grievance committee. You don't let something like this pass, because this is not the way business is done. And when people do business like this, they've got to be called on it. Shame on you for not doing that. I don't know if it's true or not true, George, but here's the bottom line. If you believe that, you had an obligation to make complaints against both of them. No judge should be going on vacation or having lunch or playing golf or whatever else they do with defense attorneys or prosecutors for that matter. That's hogwash, and shame on you for not reporting it. A lot of police reports, George, and I'm going to tell you this. You got a temper, you were angry, you were injured, you were in pain, and you were bored out of your tail, and she was aggravating you. She's walking around in the public mall with a bathrobe and who knows what under it, and a raw egg hanging on her neck, and you can't deal with it. I think you two ought to, never even look at each other again when you leave this courtroom today. Meanwhile, who are you and why are you here?
I'm a good friend of George's.
What's your name?
Johnny.
Hey, John.
I've known him for I know him for 20 years. He's a good guy, and he's never been involved with the police until he's been in this relationship that I know of.
Yeah.
That says something about...
How about you? You ever been involved with the police, Johnny?
Oh, I have, actually.
What a shock! What a shock!
From another relationship, actually. And prior to that, I've never
It's all the women's fault, right?
Huh?
It's the women's fault.
Yes, yeah. You know what?
Don't even say that in my court. You're going to sit your butt down.
Prior to this happening, he was telling me about all the problems they had together. Okay? Their relationship was deteriorating. So then he called me up. He said, John, you know, we're going to end this. We're going to sell the house.
I'm so proud of him. Yeah,
we're going to
move on.
separate everything properly. This is okay. This is the last I heard from him. He calls me up the next day and he says, you know what? I'm not in the house. She went to the house and she took stuff out of mine.
Okay.
Now, this is where it all began.
Okay.
She had went to the house, took stuff out of the house with him not being there, not doing it nicely in a good way.
Yeah, mean.
So
well,
then,
what do you
here's where we
expect?
get to
They're
the
gonna ask
couch.
each other's
This is about the
permission.
couch.
They hate each other at
It's
this
about
point.
the couch. It's not about a judge. It's about a couch.
Okay. Sit down, Johnny. I get it. You like him. So what does she have of yours?
A DVD player, some tools, and some kitchenware that I
Do you
was
have
missing.
his stuff, Deidre?
Absolutely not. On
where is his
the
stuff?
end of December, we had a mediator. We had the real estate agent because I didn't want to talk to him. He really didn't want to talk to me. So we used the real estate agent as a mediator, and I do have a signed affidavit from her
Let's look at it.
that stated that, you know, I was to get certain things, he was to get certain things. The sofa and love seat was going to stay at the home until
It was sold.
Until the
Where's
home
the
sold.
sofa and love seat? That's what you're
Don't know.
suing for.
Don't know. He's got it.
Do you have the sofa and the love seat?
Yes, I do. And we both paid equal 50-50 on the sofa and love seat. She put it on her credit card. I paid her cash for the half. That's how we did
So
everything.
you're saying that you have it because you think you own half of it and you don't need to give it to her.
No, that I'm missing missing items,
No,
and I
no.
used it as leverage to get my items
Got
back.
it. Got it. You're using it as leverage. What is this?
That's what he gave the real estate agent and faxed it over and said, these are my items that are missing. Those are the three things at the bottom
But
that are
he's
missing.
not suing for that.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm
So-
saying. I was already out of the home, and this is what he said was missing.
So you're
how can
saying
more
that
stuff
if
be
he
missing?
you're saying that if he wanted the tools, the DVD player, and the kitchenware, he would have included it on this
Exactly,
quasi punch list. What you're saying here is that you've got the sofa and the love seat, and you're holding him as collateral.
Yeah, she didn't want them because there was a stain on them.
Why is there a stain on it? Is that a story?
That's a story.
Yeah.
I called him and he said, I don't think you're really going to want that sofa love seat because I had some friends over who had sex on it and there are bodily fluids on it. And so I don't think you want it anymore. And I said, absolutely, I don't want it. Now you can pay me the money for the sofa and love seat. Later, a couple months later, I called again. He said drinks had been spilled on it. I said, George, last time I talked
He's
to you,
being
said
a wise
bodily
guy,
fluids.
okay? You know it. I know the guy 10 minutes. I know he's a wise guy. I mean,
No,
come on.
I said, no, he actually told me who it was. And I
Well, what'd you
believed
do, a
that-
DNA test? Come on, Deidre.
No, I haven't seen the sofa or love
All right,
seat.
all right. I want to work this out. Okay, enough. I'm tired of listening to you two complain about each other. I'm so glad you made the decision to move on because you have to. You're suing her for false arrest.
False arrest with the items I'm missing.
What false arrest? When the police took you in for 2 days?
Yeah, I had to pay $750 to obtain attorney, lost 2 days of work.
Okay. Here's the bottom line. Do you want the sofa and the love seat?
No.
You're suing for the sofa and love seat. What are we talking about
I'm
here?
suing for the value of it. I want the money. It's been a year. I had to go buy a new sofa and love seat.
Money.
I don't,
Give her the value of it. It's
would
10 years
you
old.
want
Johnny,
us-
be quiet.
Would you want us?
I'm going back to jail. Stop it. The defendant is suing the plaintiff for false arrest. Let me get that out of the way right now. You do not have a civil suit for false arrest against another citizen. A false arrest claim would have to be against the police department that arrested you. Now, you say that you have $421 of property. Okay, you are now, on the other hand, suing for what you consider $1,475 for the sofa and love seat. He admits he has a sofa and love seat. He was a wise guy about it. I'm going to separate the $421, and that gives me $1,050. But more importantly, stay out of the mall with your bathrobe and raw eggs. And you move on. You're fine. You stay out of trouble, Johnny. You I'm worried about.
Thank you.